Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over a really entertaining article titled, I'm all for you-know-what-ism, but it's kind of making it hard to date. And this article is written by self-proclaimed you-know-what-ist, or I'm just going to refer to her as a F3minist. You know what I'm talking about. I got to speak code here because if I say that F word too many times, it could draw attention that I don't want towards this video and cause some issues. So I got to speak in code. And basically this self-proclaimed F3minist, she's talking about and complaining that it's pretty difficult to date when you have those views. She's having a hard time doing it and experiencing a lot of issues with guys. And basically pointing the finger at us and basically taking jabs at guys because of obviously we're intimidated or we're, not going along with that program, so to speak. And it's very entertaining. And she goes through 10 different points about things that she's noticing causing her a hard time dating. Okay? And the reason I'm doing this, guys, is that it's for two reasons. Number one, it's entertaining as hell. And I love a good opportunity to make fun of people like her. And number two, in all seriousness, for you younger guys that are dating and all that, you're going to run into women like this more and more often as time's gone on. That's just the times. It's unfortunate, but that's how things are right now. So I want you guys to see or hear through this article a lot of the crap that's going on in a woman like this's head. So if you somehow end up on a date with one of these women, you can pick them out pretty quickly. And hopefully you can pick them out early on. They don't even end up on a date with someone like this. But if you do, like I said before, go for one drink, that's it. That way then if you start picking up on her crap, you can, chug your beer and get out of there. And B, save yourself a lot of time, money, and frustration. Because there's plenty of them out there. I have friends that dated a couple women like this, actually got into serious relationships with them. It was never-ending drama, never-ending bullshit. I want you guys to avoid that kind of crap. And I want people like this to be alone and learn their lesson. So, again, the title of the article is, I'm all for F-inism, but it's kind of making it harder to date. You hear the cops. I guess the you-know-what police are coming after me for speaking out. I consider myself a F-inist, but I can't lie. I'm starting to notice its effects on my dating life. This doesn't change my belief in equality. I just hope that men and women can eventually learn to date in harmony because it's pretty messy right now. Gee, who do you think made it messy? Number one, she goes through 10 different things here. I'm hyper aware of every sexist thing a guy does now. I bet she is. It doesn't take much for me to overanalyze a guy's intentions nowadays. I used to see a guy opening a door for me as nice and polite. But lately, gestures like this have been making me angry. I know the guys offering these acts of chivalry have no intention to make me feel small or lesser than, but now that my eyes have been opened to F-inist theory, it's all I'm able to think about. Guys, women like this, that's all they think about. That's all they talk about. Like I said, I had two friends that mistakenly and foolishly got involved with two women like this. These women were in their 20s, and one was pretty good looking, one wasn't bad looking, but they were in their prime, so it wasn't hard for them to get guys. And then when the guys were sucked in, so to speak, that's when the can of worms of this crap really came about. And the impact they had on these guys, it was hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious looking back now, but I felt bad from them, but they don't want to listen to me. But it was never any drama with these women. There was never any complaining about this. There's always some injustice to fight. They're always keeping track and score of who did what. Never any politics. It's just not fun. It should be fun. It should be enjoyable. But it was never ending shit with these two women. Number two, guys are starting to think we don't need them anymore. Well, they don't need us until they need us, or at least our money. Even though the F-inist movement is pretty much like the best thing to happen to this world since sliced bread. These are her words, not mine, guys. It's starting to take its toll on the dating scene. The thing is, I'm starting to get a bit of a standoffish vibe from guys. Like they're afraid to make a move. And I think it's because they think we don't need them anymore. I'm not going to go and cry a river for them because that's something they're going to have to figure out with their own psyches. It's just something I've noticed, and it's a bit of a shame. Guys are avoiding them because they can pick up on that vibe of what their personality's like. You know, apparently 70% of communication is body language. So if you see someone there with a unhappy look on their face and have body language that basically says "don't come near me" and things like that, you're not gonna come near someone like that. You're gonna avoid them. And let's be honest here, these type of people, their whole vibe is anger. Their whole vibe is standoffish. Their whole vibe is confrontation. Who the fuck wants to be around that, right? For some reason it skips over to number 4, but there's actually 10 things here. Number 4, one little anti-F3minist comment can completely turn me off. That is so true. When I'm out with a guy and he says one thing that's even remotely, and she capitalized remotely, offensive towards women, I find it really hard to recover. I instantly write guys off if they aren't woke to the current social mindset towards gender politics and can't let it go. Let's just say I've gone out a lot, again that's capitalized, on first dates that never go anywhere. See, guys? And in this day and age, you know, pretty much every day there's something new that's considered to be offensive. Every day there's a new word or phrase or some damn thing that offends somebody, and now people got to make a mountain out of a molehill. And who makes plenty of a mountain out of molehills? These type of people. You know, it's unbelievable. Lots of first dates I can imagine, and her whole life is going to be full of lots of first dates because nobody's going to want to be around her. And for any of you women watching that are kind of like her or starting to think maybe you see eye to eye with certain viewpoints of the F3minist movement, be aware that you're just going to be angry all the time, okay? You're going to be basically a woman like this she's been brainwashed by somebody else's ideas. Does she? And as I go through this article, by the way, guys, pay attention. Does she sound like someone that's happy to you? Does she sound like someone that's enjoying her life? No, she's angry, and it's only going to get worse. And she's going to be alone. So for any women watching this, be aware of this, that your future is being alone and angry if you get sucked into a lot of this bullshit. Because, let's be honest, a great deal of it is bullshit. In fact, no, the majority is bullshit. All right, number 5. It's like guys are walking on eggshells around us. Guys are feeling the heat, and we can all tell. They're afraid to compliment us or relate to us in the way that we're always taught to, and trust me, this is a good thing. However, women still like to be pursued, and she says in parentheses, at least I do. Nobody's going to be pursuing this chick, trust me. And it's unfortunate that by finally standing up for our rights and demanding respect, we're totally scaring men away. It's so messed up and a total shame. Well, the guys that have it together, the guys that have their choice of women, are successful and all that, they're not going to give women like this the time of day. You know why? Because women like this are complete turnoff to all guys, honestly, but especially guys that are successful women. They're not going to tolerate this type because, let's be honest here, by and large, they're all extremely masculine and exhibit all these masculine traits. And guess what? Men don't want, straight men, they don't want to be out on romantic dates and all that with other men. They want to be out with women. But if they're out with a woman that physically is even beautiful, but acts like a man, acts masculine, displays all his masculine traits, it's a turnoff. Women like this repel men. And so I have news for you ladies watching this that are like this. You are going to be alone in your future. You act like this, you're going to turn guys off. And the only guys you are going to get are going to be the very soft, weakened guys that are easily dominated and pushed around. Probably guys that had very domineering, tough, hard-ass mothers. And you're not going to respect them anyway. So be aware of this. Kitty cats are going to be in your future. And I'm a cat lover, so I'll be glad that cats will get a home. But a lot of very unhappy, lonely women out there is going to be in the future. This crap continues. And the whole thing about, women like being pursued. Yeah, women They may like being pursued in the sense of they like the attention, validation. But let's be honest, what happens when guys pursue women too much beyond just asking them out? It turns them off. We all know this. At least those of you that had the life experience to know that. So she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about here. All right, number 6. You'll like this. I've been brainwashed to assume the worst in men. She knows this. All this never-ending, people can hear something so many times and eventually they start thinking it themselves. That's why they call it brainwashing. She says, all it takes is one quick scroll down my newsfeed and I have enough F3minist rants to last me several winters. I think I've almost trained my brain to assume all, she says it's capitalized, all men are here to try to put me down and dominate me when that's far from the truth. I've made it kind of an automatic reflex at this point, though. So right here, she's admitting this. She knows that she's been brainwashed, but she's still doing it anyway. It's done its damage. Again, can you imagine hanging out with this girl? Can you imagine being around her? Who wants to be around someone like that? It's not a pleasant experience. It's going to be a very negative, unhappy time. I've unfortunately had to be around certain women like this, and I couldn't wait to get the fuck away from them. They were annoying as hell. But they, of course, thought everybody else was the bad guy. Number 7, the debate on who should pay has never been more alive, as in paying for dates. I'm on the side that believes whoever does the asking should also do the paying. If I ask a guy out on a date, I would expect to pay. Absolutely. If a guy asks me, I would expect that he shells out the money for the evening. It's just the way it should be, in her opinion. However, due to the recent boost in F3minism, a guy paying the bill could be seen as anti-F3minist. And no guy wants to be considered a misogynist in this day and age. No guy wants to put up and be around people that make mountains out of molehills and label them as something negative because they want to buy the goddamn dinner. But people like her have created all these problems. The song and dance of who's going to pay has never been more awkward, and it's making dating that much more difficult to maneuver. Well, who can we blame there? Before all this COVID crap started and we were all locked down, I was out with a bunch of buddies one night, and one of my friends, he was talking about he was out on a date, and basically he was having a good time with her. Everything was cool, thought he would go to a second date, and then the check came, and he grabbed the bill, got his credit card out to pay for it, and the girl he was with all of a sudden, like that, turned into a harpy and started complaining and giving him a hard time because he wanted to pay for the bill. She went through this whole song and dance bullshit, how it should be split and blah, 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 and all that, which we all know what we hear about, right? And so, needless to say, there was no second date. He didn't give her the time of day. Number 8. I'm afraid of scaring guys off by being too F3minist. The same way I'm hyper aware when guys are being insulting towards women, I'm also afraid that I'm going to come off as too harsh and dominant, which could easily scare guys away. F3minism is something I'm passionate about, but I also know how guys can get insecure when I talk about it. I don't know what to do anymore. Well, it isn't that guys are insecure about it or anything like that. It's that guys are completely turned off by masculine women, except the very, very, very feminine guys that are straight, but they're used to a woman bossing them around because their mom was probably like that. We don't like masculine women. We want to be out with a feminine girl. And so if she's acting very dominant and aggressive and highly competitive and all these things that can be associated with masculine energy, it's like being out on a date with a dude. We don't want that. So either zip it and cut that shit out, or you're not going to have any guys around you, except weak guys. They're going to turn you off anyway. It's not that we're insecure. We don't want that. And again, guys, there was a time and place. I'm 42. I mentioned that on occasion, and some of you guys are absolutely shocked that I'm 42 years old, but yes, I'm 42. And there was a time and place 20 years ago that actually going out was fun. You had drama. That's always been the case. But there was a lot more fun than there is today. It's crazy out there right now. And I feel bad for the young guys deal with this bullshit. That's why they're not dealing with this bullshit, honestly. Ain't about insecurity, because we don't want to deal with this shit. It's supposed to be fun, not have drama. Or this type of drama and being all political and everything. It's crazy. Number 9. It's made us more separate from each other than ever before. Again, who can we blame that on? Men and women already have so much trouble trying to understand each other. But feminism has turned our society into a little battle of the sexes. I'm not on their side or anything. I'm just pointing out that we're currently in a sort of us against them mentality, and it's going to take a while until it all smooths out. Again, who started that? Who is continuing that on? Let's be honest here, right? Number 10. Every first date I go on, there's an elephant in the room. Well, it's probably her fat ass. It's weird because we're doing the whole man-seeking woman act when we go on dates. But we both know that this old way of seeing each other is on its way out. I'm not saying dating is dead, but I think we will need to find a new way to be in relationships without falling into any sort of forced gender roles. I just don't think we know how to do it yet. Forced. She and people like her are forcing these roles. You know, they don't want to do what's natural, which just feels natural the way we were designed to be by Mother Nature or whomever. Instead, a woman like her and women like her and other people with these mindsets, they're the one going against their natural way of doing things, their natural whims, so to speak. They're the ones that's forcing things, and look what's going on. But you try to say this to someone like her or people like her with that mindset, they'll lose their minds. Number 11. I swear guys are approaching me less. Yeah, big surprise there. Is it just me, or are guys doing a lot more looking around than actually approaching? Times are a little weird right now, and I guess guys are afraid that the way they approach women might offend us or give us the wrong impression. I guess this is a good thing in a way, because now guys have to whack their brain and kind of figure out how to treat women with respect and see us as whole people. That's a good thing, but it'll be a while until we'll see that it's a dating trend. Well, guys aren't approaching her and women like her because, again, like I said about body language, 70%, it's estimated 70% of communication is body language. They could take one look at her and be like, oh my God, I'm not going near her. If she's sitting there with her arms folded, with a scowl on her face, and just picking up on these traits, you can pick up on it. Or her tone of voice, that's another thing. But yes, there are guys nowadays that aren't approaching women because they simply don't want to have anything to do with women. I know a lot of guys on this channel are like that, and given their experiences, and you can't blame them, given the environment we're in for many, many reasons, but also women like her in this article. But at the end of the day, in regards to her, I guarantee you that she's putting out the vibe out there of what she's really like, and no one wants to be around that. That's not attractive. Now, I looked to see if I could find a picture of her. All throughout this article, guys, scroll down when this video is over and click on the link in the description. You'll see this article and you can read it. And you can see all these pictures of men and women, young men and women on dates. And it's definitely not her, because these women look very feminine and affectionate and all that. And we know darn well women like this are not that way at all. And I couldn't find what she looks like. But the odds are, given her looks, her vibe out there she's putting out, it turns guys off. So, guys, I thought this was a really good thing to go over, aside from being funny, because for you young guys out there, I want you guys to avoid this stuff like the plague. You don't need this, okay? And there's a lot of it out there right now. It's unfortunate, especially 20 and 30-something women, okay? That's why I say, again, if you're going to meet up on a date, like say you met a girl on a dating app, or you have the guts to talk to some woman you met in public and you got her number and you don't know her that well, meet up for one drink. That way you go in there, buy your beer, or buy your coffee, buy your tea, whatever it is you drink, meet her, and you can probably figure out within a few minutes exactly if she's like one of these chicks. And that way then just be like, chug your beer and say, all right, well, it's nice to meet you, but I got to run. Have a good night. That's it. But You don't need this, guys. And for the women watching this, I'm telling you right now, does she sound happy to you? Does this woman in this article sound like someone that's going to have a very happy future given the path that she's on right now? No, she's going to be alone. She's going to be alone, and she's going to be miserable and probably impacting everybody else around her. And probably by the time she wakes up, it's going to be too late. So, for a lot of you ladies that think this is a good idea, a good path to follow, be aware of what's in your future, okay? And because women like this, they're basing these views on somebody else's idea of how things are supposed to be, okay? And honestly, a lot of these women just simply want to be alone and just want to hate everybody and anything. But they're spreading this venomous idea, these venomous ideals onto other women that otherwise wouldn't be that way. So anyway, I've gone on long enough about that. So that's it for today, guys. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you guys have ever been out on a date with someone like this, and how did that go? Did you pick up on it early on, or were you sitting there for a while and then she started in with all her bullshit? I'd like to hear about it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.